presenting it. We have better color than they do. They can capture with our paint. We have the ability to change things around with our texture and edge to tell even better story. But if we don't learn the basics of how to set things up, lighting, how to basically capture a good image, simply a good image, then we're behind. It's not enough just to be able to put paint down in the right way. And so that's what it's about. It's about capturing the best image. It's about presenting the best image to someone. And so what we need to do is we need to learn how to do what a lot of the best photographers can do. Not really learn. I mean, the camera's not that big of a deal to learn. It's just settings. Really, it's just you learn the settings to just capture the best exposure possible, whatever kind of exposure you want. But there's a lot to be learned from photographers, and unfortunately, I feel like in many circles, not all of them, but in many circles of artists, they sort of think about the whole world of photography as almost like something you should stay away from. It's like they think of it as almost evil. And it's not. We're doing the same thing. So that's one thing I wanted to talk about. It's basically like don't be afraid to pick up a few books on photography. Pick up a few books on photographers' work, their actual work, and study it. Don't think of it as a separate entity. Think of each one as almost as a painting, and say, how is the content, the emotion, the composition? It's everything. It's even some colors go, but then think how would I paint that and make it maybe even better? I could use edges here. I could change the texture, thick stroke, thin stroke, all these things. But when you start doing that, it's sort of like almost merging their world with ours. You realize a lot of the time the best photographers in the world are so much better at those things that artists are. They really are, and we need to catch up with them. Now they're better because they spend more time, like we talked about, where it takes us years to master paint. They get to learn it in a couple of weeks. This is their thing. This is their maker. They get to snap this, learn about the exposure and stuff. We have to spend years learning how to mix paint just to create the image. So while we're learning that, they've already learned all about this, and they're already into composition and lighting, attitude, portrait, and all these things. So we have to catch up with them. Otherwise, we're behind. And as much as it's nice to look at a great painting, it would be so much better to see that story, that lighting, the way they handle it. So we have homework to do. We have work to do. It's difficult, but that's one thing. And then on a side note, let's talk about the camera and photography from a technical standpoint. We all pretty much, in today's world, it's fast-paced. We don't necessarily have the luxury of having people sit and pose for us for days and days and days and days, for hours. You could, it's expensive though. But, we all have lives and busy and all this stuff, so it's tricky to have that. So we can use the camera to capture things. There's nothing wrong with that. And you may, some people say, well, you can take pictures, but you want to make it look like it's from live. Well, not all the time. There are certain instances where I've taken a picture and it actually is more intriguing than what it looked like in real life. It's more interesting. There's maybe not necessarily more depth to it, but there's still something about it that I like better than life. And in a lot of ways too, when you look at a good film, I don't know if you guys have ever traveled to a location that was really popular maybe on film, and you look at the location and it's just like, there's nothing to it, but like the way they shot it and the way it was lit, it was so interesting. And that was shot with a camera. Looking at it and we're thinking, wow, that's incredible. And when we stare at it from live, it's like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about sometimes you can take the right picture that actually simplifies and sort of compresses the value spread and compresses maybe some of the color. But the way it's cropped, the way the camera translates it actually is more pleasing to our eye every once in a while. So you can run with that. You can run with that. In that case, you use the camera's interpretation of life to be the inspiration for the painting rather than reality itself. Anyways, and what I was getting at too, technically, what we want to do when we do take pictures is we want to learn about it. We want to learn how to use our camera because the best picture you take is going to be easier to work from. The better you are taking pictures. I've seen some people work with photographs, and it's almost like, I don't know if they're embarrassed or they just don't want to mess with it, but they take these pictures and they print them off and they're like this big, and they take them to the side of the canvas there, and they're working on this big thing, and the reference is like that, and it's terrible quality. And I don't know what it is or why they're doing that, It's like maybe they feel bad about working, or they just don't really, they just want to do a little bit of it. I don't want to do that. I feel like my best paintings, when I am working with a photograph, it needs to be from the best camera you can afford. And of course, there are some ridiculously expensive cameras out there. You can spend $40,000, $50,000 on a nice Hasselblad camera if you want, but you don't have to have that. But you can spend a few $100 on it. They're all good. Cameras are getting better. So one is though, learn the camera, take the best pictures you can, and spend time on it. Actually try to get the best exposure. It's not enough just to be like, oh, that's cool, and put it away. Maybe you could bracket to get an HDR image that's like high dynamic range. Meaning, you're taking the picture. Most often, what I like to do, if I have time, is take the shot, overexpose, underexpose. What am I doing? When I do that, I'm getting the details in the shadow. Like, take a dark image, and that means you're getting the details in the lights. Everything's dark, but your highlights actually become clear. And then take one that's all really bright, so you get the details in the shadow. And then take a normal exposure. So when you put that in the computer, if you happen to have Photoshop, which I do recommend buying, or what you don't have to have that, but I do recommend it. You can sort of put these images together and then work from your normal picture, because if you need that to figure out maybe a few details in the shadow, or maybe not, whatever. But it does give you that information.
Hey Casey, can you do that in Photoshop Elements, like the bracketing thing, or do you need the full version of Photoshop?
I don't know.
Do you know?
See, the way I do it is I just make different layers and just merge them.
Oh, merge them that way, like manually.
It on there if you can do it.
Can you show us? Are you
don't
showing
even
that now?
have to do that. You can just put them side by side. You
Yeah.
have your normal exposure,
Yeah.
and then have like a section of the shadow that you took that image, put it beside it over on a separate file, and just look at what's
When
happening.
you're painting that?
Yeah. And
Okay.
then maybe the highlights have that as a separate image. You don't have to merge this one. That's
Yeah,
more
because what I've been
complicated.
doing.
And you don't have to do it that way. It's basically just as long as you have that image, when you get to that part, you can kind of take a
When
look
you
at it
need
and
it.
see, okay, well, whereas my normal exposure is all black, this one I can see there's one extra value there, or maybe I can capture a little extra color in the shadow
Yeah.
with the underexpired image, the darker image, or the lighter image. Little tricks like that help, but the point is though, like we were talking about this whole class, how we should focus on the preliminaries. This is part of the preliminary. If I'm walking around outside and I see this beautiful little spot, little landscape, and I'm going to take a picture of it, I've got to work from that. And although it's nice to try to remember things, the more I get from this image, maybe taking a picture cropped in, maybe pull out a little wider than you think you might paint, just in case you want to do a wider composition. Maybe take pictures of things around it, just in case you want to incorporate bits and pieces, like grab that tree, put it over here, with this little area of dirt, there's a mud puddle that I might want to stick over here too, so take a picture of that, so you can incorporate all these different things, and it's just going to help you. And then once we have our images, we put them on the computer, and there's one way to do it. You can print them off on a big print and work from that, and that's okay. What are you dealing with there? You're dealing with ink on paper, okay? It's limited. And when I say ink on paper, I mean 4 colors of ink on paper. And so it's limited. Although it probably looks pretty good. You see some pretty good looking prints. They are good, but what we can do with oil is so much better. Next step would be the computer monitor. And there are so many different kinds of those. I use this one, I like that one. It's the Apple LED monitor. It's not the best, but it's good. It's around, how much is it, $800-900? And with the computer monitor, you're getting the benefit of a greater span of light, color, better values. So it's more like working from life, or at least you have more to choose from. I keep saying working from life because we have more options. That's why people do that. You have more color to look at you and more to choose from. So you can pick and choose what you want. So the point of all this though is to work from the best you can come up with, the best image. That way it's not this little thumbnail, you're making everything up, and that's difficult. You have a nice quality image here that is inspiring. There's no obscure areas. It's just there. And you can pick and choose from that and put it in the painting, whatever you want. While I'm on the subject, actually, before I forget, talking about setup, make sure you also, and this doesn't really have to do with photography, but I want to touch on it. When you're painting, try to set up in sort of the best way you can. Meaning, have plenty of light up, a lot of light. In a comfortable area, you want to be comfortable. You want your canvas to have enough room to move around, preferably enough room to back up and sort of take a look at your canvas from a distance. But have a lot of light on your canvas. And try to make it to where there's not a lot of glare either. And that'll just make it more comfortable, which means you'll work longer. And it'll be easier. You'll have a better time doing it. Painting's hard. Now, when I'm painting in my studio, we live in 2012, so we have the luxury of all different sorts of things now that the old masters did not have. They were searching for more efficient light, and the most efficient light and the most consistent light for them was like north light, or I guess the skylight, which is still not really consistent because on a cloudy day it's going to look completely different than it is on a sunny day. Color changes, value changes, that's all fine and good. Although it's a nice quality of light, it's not consistent. What I like to do in my studio when I'm not gathering reference, I'm actually painting on the painting itself. I'm working on something. I work under fluorescent lights, which aren't really the best of the best of the best. It's not the best money can buy, but it's like the second best. What I have is, I have a big bank of 24 fluorescent lights. They're 4 foot long. And they're just mounted like 15 feet above the floor. And then I have a large white sheet that I just hang over it to diffuse the light. So when you walk in, you don't even see the bulbs. You actually just see this glowing sheet that feels very soft, and it almost looks like you cut a hole in the ceiling and the light just comes in. It's really nice. I like it a lot.
What I did, I just finished this, is I have those 8-foot ones, and I have six of the 8-foot, and I have like these rafters, and I put them upside down so it's like bouncing off the ceiling and coming down.
Well, that works too. If you have a white ceiling or a light ceiling, yeah. It's kind of hard sometimes when you're working, for a long time to sort of see the actual bulbs themselves. So I found that finding a way to diffuse them is nice. And also, I think it's important when you're working to keep in mind that a larger area, surface area of light coming down is nicer for the painting and for your eyes. Meaning that just one small source, even though it might be bright enough to light your canvas, is usually not the best thing. So if you can, and this stuff's cheap. You can go to Lowe's or Depot or Ace or whatever and buy some $20 fixtures where the bulbs are like $5 a piece, and space them out to make like a big rectangle or something. You can buy like 5 or 6 or however many you want to buy. Just space them out on the ceiling, and you'll have the diffusion that you want. It'll feel like a skylight, and the painting will look nice. It'll be lit everywhere even. That's important. Also, what's important is the temperature of bulb. It's not just a matter of buying the fluorescent bulb. There's lots of different kinds of fluorescent bulbs. The ones I use, I actually mix. Out of 24, I have 12 5,000 kelvin and 12 6,500 kelvin. I'm doing that because I like the mid-temperature. Like the 5,000 is supposedly neutral balance, which means you see the full spectrum. Supposedly. I find it to be slightly on the warmer side. 6,500 Kelvin is a little on the cooler side. It's like North Light. Of course, North Light is like 12,000 and above. So I found that like mixing the bulbs gives me neutral, maybe on the cooler side. And I like that. That's a personal preference thing. I think it looks nice. It feels good. As a rule, I found, and this is coming from Richard too, and I've tried this, I would recommend painting under cooler light rather than warmer light. Because if you paint under cooler light, your painting always looks good under all sorts of lights. Like if you paint under cool light, it looks good under cool light and warm light. But if you paint under warm light, it only looks good under warm light. It changes the colors, and I don't know, it's weird. I mean, you can do what you want to do, but that's what I found. You can go out and buy LED light panels. They're 1 foot by 1 foot this square. You can buy about, just buy a big bag of those, make a giant rectangle. Now, they're $1,000 a piece for these things. But the benefit of them the benefit is that you can control the brightness of each one and the temperature. You can actually change and make them any color imaginable. So it's like unlimited possibilities there. And they last forever, they're cold as far as the heat coming from them, they don't use any electricity, they're awesome. I've played around with a few, but it would cost a lot of money for that, especially if you're going to make a big come out or something. Anyway, that's the best. They sell now adjustable fluorescent lights. You adjust the brightness. Those are really expensive too, but there's no point. Just if you want to be brighter, add more bulbs. If you want to be less, take the bulbs out. But plenty of lights on your canvas. What does that do? Why? I don't want to say this just so you do it. I want you to understand why. Why do we put plenty of light on our canvas? Because if you have plenty of light, like the brightest white that's bouncing off your canvas is the brightest you can make the brightest part in your painting. And you can always make a painting pretty dark by just going pure black, which means you're getting a broader range of values there. If I have low light, then my brightest white is not going to be very bright. And of course the darkest dark is really dark, but it sort of limits that depth, all right? And the brighter it is, we can just pull those values apart, keep our darks really black, and then bring our lights out. Now you can do that to a fault, of course. If you make it too bright, then when you show your painting anywhere else, it's going to be a very dark painting. You ever notice painting out in full sunlight, and you bring it in the house, it's going to be dark. Technically though, in a perfect world, I would actually rather, if you want the absolute most brilliant color and best depth, then paint it under the brightest light and show it and hang it under the brightest light. We can't do that, but if we could, that would actually be like serious depth. Assuming we could get our darks really black. But anyways, it's also nice too, depending on, to know your location, where the painting is going to be hung. If you know, if you have a relationship with your gallery, figure out what sort of lights they're using, and make sure it's going to look nice under that lighting. You can test it out there, because that's where it's going to be shown. That's where the painting's going to live for a while. But we can drive ourselves crazy with all this stuff. So as long as you do the best you can, you think it through. That's all that matters. You don't want to just turn on the bulb and just start painting. Your walls is important. I would keep it as neutral as possible, but if you want to create some crazy effects, then you could change the color. And that's sort of up to you to experiment. I've tried so many different things, everything from white walls to black walls to different colored walls, gray walls. I don't know which one's my favorite yet. I'm still trying to figure it out. It's
Are
nice.
you talking about
The actual
sides,
walls of your
your backdrop, or whatever your environment?
Yeah, just basically meaning the wall of your
The
studio.
whole studio.
How the studio wall is supposed to be, because the light reflects onto your painting. Let's say you were to walk into your studio and you have red walls. Bright red walls. That's going to be reflecting onto your painting. And it will affect your color judgments. And when you bring that painting somewhere else, it will, it will look different. So I would keep it maybe neutral, on the neutral side if you can. When I say neutral, I mean like white, gray, maybe black. Be careful about the black, but Yeah. My studio in Boston was really dark, and it made me make my paintings actually really dark because a bright painting on a dark background looks too bright, so I would make it darker and darker so that it felt better. And when I did that, I'm just making the painting darker, and I brought it on a white wall, and it was just dark. Which is not always a bad thing, just say it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Same thing on light.
Like mid-tone, did you do mid-tone?
Just a gray, neutral gray. And there's a million grays, but just find one that's, you can't,
I mean mid-tone value.
Oh, what about that?
Try that. Having your studio walls mid-tone value.
Well, sure, that would be a neutral gray.
Is that, okay.
Yeah,
And
that's probably your best bet. Yeah, a lot of galleries are white, so you can paint with white. The thing I like about white is the fact that that's where it's going to end up hanging probably in the gallery. But the downside of white, and it's neutral too. The downside to white is that I make my paintings a little bit too light, and that's not the downside really, that's okay. But the downside to me is there's too much reflective light all over my studio while I'm painting, and I don't like it. So, if you, I guess another perfect situation, you could have a very large studio and different wall colors away, and you can just test the painting on different walls. Maybe you're, I don't know. That's something I'm still experimenting with. So. But be aware of it though. Be aware. If you constantly notice that maybe your colors are doing weird things when you take them out of the studio, maybe it's because of something in your studio. And as long as we're aware of these things, it keeps you thinking, keeps you on your toes. And as far as equipment goes, I'm using the Canon 5D Mark II. This thing's pretty cool. It does video as well. And it does, the way it captures videos, it captures it progressively as opposed to interlaced. What does that mean? If you ever notice, you take your video camera and do video and you pause it, you'll notice there's little horizontal lines in it as you pause it. That's interlaced. When you shoot progressive, it's actually refreshing the screen every frame. There's 30 frames per second, which means you actually have 30 photographs per second to choose from. So you can take a video of something, movement, and pause it 30 times in a second, and you get a different picture. But the picture quality is just the same as if you were to snap a picture. The quality, now you don't have the depth, the resolution, as far as you can't zoom in as much, but if you were to look at the images side by side on a smaller screen, image from the video, image that I just snapped, they look the same, which is fantastic, because you have 30 frames per second and you can capture all sorts of great movement that way. Now, it's not the only way to do it, of course. I love that, but I've only ended up using it a few times. But it's just something to think about. Anyways, good camera. I like this camera. And then, you can learn all about this sort of stuff on your own time. There's a great website that I would recommend. If you are interested in learning about everything having to do with photography and computer programs that deal with photography, like Photoshop and things like that, even websites. There's a website called kelbytraining.com, Kelby, I believe. This website is really great because you have to pay a little bit of money a month, like $20 a month, or you can just do it for 1 month. But once you pay that, you have unlimited access to videos, hours and hours of videos that are created by professional photographers and professionals in their field. And they're all themed under certain little bits of subjects, like how to light your subject, and they should talk about the equipment. They go through like hours, you can just pause it and come back to it whenever you want to. Just kick back with a coffee or whatever you want to do and learn about all this stuff. It's great. Learn about little tricks in Photoshop. Learn about, everything. It's based around photography though, so there's a little bit of video in there, a little bit of website stuff, things like that, but pretty much it's based around photography. And it covers everything. How to shoot outdoors, how to shoot indoors, different tricks, how to shoot still lives. And it's not really geared towards artists, but sometimes as photographers they have to shoot like food and props and things like vehicles and stuff. But I've watched so many of these videos and I cannot tell you how much I've picked up from this stuff. So, and it's not that, it's $20 a month, that's not that big a deal. I would recommend that, and you can go through their categories and just pick, look through and say, oh, I'm interested in learning about that. How to shoot people outdoors, and different tricks to use. And sometimes it's a little bit over, sometimes they're all professionals, so sometimes it's over your head as far as I wouldn't say like skill, but sometimes they're using equipment that's kind of hard to get a hold of. Like expensive, big equipment with big flashes. But regardless, it's still good to pick things up because you can learn how they're thinking, or you can just always, you learn about little reflectors. You go out and buy some cheap foam core or a sheet, and you're taking pictures of someone outside, and you lay the sheet down next to them that reflects the light back up into their face, and it just brightens everything up. Little things like that, where the sun's coming down, you can hang a sheet up to block the sunlight so that you get this nice diffused light. Little things that all of us can do to make an image look better. And if they're doing it, there's a reason they're doing it. They're not just doing it for no reason. They're doing it because their images look better. And what do we say? If our images look better, we're going to get a better painting from it. That's very important. I cannot stress enough how important it is to learn from these photographers. Look right here.
Perfect.
Look right here. Reference, I usually take like 3,000 images, and then when you're dealing with images in that quantity, you want a program that you can easily, I can select all those images and make the same change to all of them instantly. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can make the white balance change to everything.
In Lightroom?
Yeah, you can't do that any other way. So, but you don't have to, to go to that extreme. Okay, I'm gonna go through here. What I'm gonna do first is take a glance down, see the bottom down here? That's my thumbnail, right? I don't want to go through these individually and put them up on the big screen just yet. I want to look at them in the thumbnail stage and just see like which ones pop out. And whichever ones stand out to me, I can flag them and say, okay, those are the ones I want to look at later. And so you're basically, it's like process elimination. I'm keeping the good ones, and then once those are all saved, then I can go through and then narrow them down even more. So I'm just going to kind of take a peek. And even though it might not be a great composition at this stage, I can change the cropping however I want to. And I just picked that. I may not end up even going with this, but I'm just going to kind of look and see which ones. And this, by the way, there's no rule or science to this. It's you feel your way through it. You have to look through your images and just say, which ones do I like? Which ones stand out? And you may not be able to really, I can barely see them too, that's the whole point. You just see them at a distance, because if they look good at a distance, they're going to look good up close to them, you're just going to look good, that's the first thing someone's going to see in the room. That's the whole point behind this.
Just out of curiosity, how many did you take?
414. And out of all these photographs, like a lot of them are blurry, some of them are just unusable, weird positions, and you just delete those, skip over this. But just looking, and that's what I'm doing now, I'm just looking for the one that pops out to you. You'll notice all sorts of different lighting too. Now what I normally do is try to visualize this as much as possible, like in my mind, trying to come up with a scene and then match the lighting to what's in my head. That's what I try to do, but inevitably it always happens where things change, and sometimes little happy accidents come about and makes me change my mind. This process takes me days to do. It's fun. It's fun. You can just go through and have a good time, You're just imagining these things as paintings. I enjoy it. I feel like it worked well. Not to be distracting, if I could, if you have background color that was like white, that might be a little too much to look at, you can tell, right? And then black is sometimes okay, but again, it might be distracting too, so just kind of, and that, a lot of that depends on your scene, the scene around you. Gray works okay. thing I did too, by the way, just to let you know, is I made the ratio of this canvas the same as the ratio of my canvas. Why not do that? You know,
Yeah.
why make it hard on yourself? Now, I'm probably not going to get to a lot of these things, but it just helps seeing, you know, where everything goes. And it helps me when I'm blocking it in. Little things like that, making it easier on yourself. Why make it hard? Painting's hard enough.